4 o'clock, 4 p.m., and here I am starting so late. I apologize for the lateness. I was trying to ensure that my network is stable. I won't be freezing in between. As usual, I supposed to start with what happened today in church since today's Sunday, but I don't want to dwell longer there. So my last service before I dive into today's gist is that our pastor said something very interesting, which is something I knew after reading a book titled something, The Secret of Eden. Please remember to like and subscribe. I cite you. Welcome to my live streaming. Is your girl Janet Peter. Okay, so Pastor said that God is not an emotional God, and I got to know about this when I was reading about the detail of Adam and Eve when they were cast out. Hi, Farouk. It's good to have you. It's really, really been a while. How have you been? I believe you're good. So I got to realize that whenever Adam was crying and weeping and all that God never do anything. I'm going to take time and read the whole book so I'll be able to share more with you. I also realized that whenever Adam asks God something directly, that God, please, this is what I want. We do that in the place of prayer, right? So God did something. It's either he sent an angel or he showed him one or two signs. So that's what I got from the last service I attended. So today I'm going to be talking about, are you being heard? That's the topic of today. Thank you, Farouk. How's your country? Do you know it was raining this morning, and surprisingly sun is here. The weather here has not been stable. I believe this is rainy season, and this year's own is so bad compared to other years. I believe you've heard about flood in our country and all that, but I thank God that I'm not affected. I don't know. It's not something I'm supposed to be thanking God for, because other people that are being affected are also loved by God, right? But still, I thank God. So back to our topic about, are you being heard? This is not what I'm supposed to talk about today, because as usual it's supposed to be gist, gossip, what happened around me. But I like to talk about this very importantly because I've experienced it. I've been, yes, flawed, it hurts, God is good, and all the time. Thank you. So it's something that's been happening everywhere. I've experienced it, I've seen it around me, until someone called me yesterday, and the person is my neighbor's girlfriend. So this neighbor is really close to me, and she said this is what she's experiencing. Now, what made it heartbreaking was when she complained to her boyfriend that, hey, this is what I've noticed, which I don't like about us. And the guy said, but Janet, don't complain, because I do talk to her. I know that she's very blunt, that if something was missing, she should have told me. Now that's the problem that happens in relationship. You don't compare the relationship you have with some other female with what you have with your partner. That was very wrong. Now, you know this situation where you're pouring out your heart, maybe about something vulnerable or important stuff about career, the event of the day, and you realize the person is there but is not paying attention. Sometimes the person is scrolling through his phone. This is not gender based, it can be male or female, but I'm going to be using him because in the story it is him, it is male that are the problem here, but it happens to male as well. Female also behave like that. Sorry. So you're talking to someone and all of a sudden the person cuts you off and says something like this. In this case, I've experienced it, and I told someone that, do you know, I've broken up with somebody because he didn't know how to communicate, and the person said you should have talked to the person. No, it's also about compatibility, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. See, I am not a relationship expert. We learn from our experiences, right? I believe some of us are versed with some knowledge about some other things, some things or the other, without being involved. You're going to say the best person to give relationship advice is someone who's married, but no, there are some people that are still inexperienced even when they are married. So in my own case, whenever you're talking to this person, he will, while you're talking, okay, for example, hey babe, I was going to the market. You know, women like details. So the bike that took me as he was about to turn, and this person will just cut you and say, you won't believe what happened on Saturday. And then you hold, or what you were saying, you wait for him to say what he wants to say. And then when he finished saying what was on his mind, he forgot that you were talking to him. So now you're waiting for the person to say, oh, as you were saying, sorry I cut you off. And the person just end everything there. He forgot you were talking. And sometimes you're the one to say, as I was saying, or sometimes you decide to end it there. You can see that there's a problem. Now, another issue is the case where you're talking to the person is just listening and is not participating, is not saying anything. See, if somebody's talking to you and you don't understand what the person is saying, you can be nodding, you can be saying okay. There should be something that piques your attention for you to ask. Now, another thing is when someone is talking and it happens, especially during an argument, and then the person is saying, the other day I saw you kicking a ball and you know you did not kick the ball, and you are forced to say, please hold on there. When did I kick the ball? Now that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about during conversation, right? So um today we are talking about why or how men struggle to pay attention to their partners during conversation. I mean, this thing I'm talking about is very serious. I know there are guys that say, I didn't come to this world to please women. But whether you like it or not, if you want to be happy in a relationship, you must know how to communicate with your partner. Because the truth is, let's say you are married. I used to it's just of recent that I realized that apart from conjugal rights, what people do mostly in marriage is, yeah, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. So in marriage, apart from cooking, providing, having what is expected, what else do you do than talking? I mean, by, talking about something like you went to the market or your partner went to the market, comes back and tells you what happened, and then you pay attention, then you say, oh, from this, some people behave like that. Now, it's very complex because communication is different from, I mean, effective communication in relationship is different from you paying attention, then you wait for the person to finish for you to come in. No. Please, it used to get me upset when I'm talking to somebody and the person is not saying anything. You must say something. You must say, oh wow, okay, right, eh. Even that thing doesn't make sense to you. Now let me go back to the person that complains, and my neighbor saying, Janet, that's I, don't complain. I don't complain because you're not my partner. You're just coming to gist with me and go to your house. So since I'm not going to be affected in the long run, I don't have any business with correcting you or not. Whoever you're going to spend the rest of your life with will do that. Hi, Sukana, how are you doing? Do you get? So, this particular neighbor, I've noticed this before his partner. Thank you. Before his partner complained about it. Because whenever he comes, he's somebody that likes, how will I say? Do you know JJK? No, I don't. Okay, keep commenting. I'll reply to you. So he's somebody that doesn't know how to segment he's when he's talking, doesn't know how to segment. For example, he can talk about what happened last month and join it with what just happened or what happened when he traveled. Do you get now? You'll be confused. For me, I used to take it that he just wants somebody to share the activity of his days with. So my own is just to listen. Sometimes I used to scroll my phone. So what I do when I'm tired, I'm in Nigeria. I'm in Nigerian. So where are you streaming from? Let me know which country. So what I do is I sometimes shut down my brain in the sense that I'm just there nodding, saying okay, saying wow, without without even absorbing what he's saying. So what that means is I don't keep details of what he's saying. But in a relationship, I heard it's a nice country. Yeah, Nigeria is a very beautiful country. Yeah, we're very generous. We have lots of foods. So I can count the food later, but the foods we have here depends on the tribe that you find yourself in. For example, if you go to my state, which is in the south, you have different delicacies, and everyone knows that the delicacies in my states are I can't explain it. But even in the West here where I am, they have their own delicacies, but I'm not a fan because for me, I love something hard. Swallow. When you have soup, you eat your swallow with your soup. Like a goosey. Do you know what a goosey soup is? So soup is not like stew, but in the West here, they used to mistake or use it interchangeably. For example, somebody can say soup, but the person means stew. So stew for me and what I know about food is that should I say sauce? It's not sauce. Sauce is different. So we use tomatoes, for example, to make stew. That's tomatoes and oil are the primary ingredients before you talk about other ingredients like onions, maggi, salt, those kind of stuff. So it doesn't mean you will not add water. For me, I prefer my stew to be thick, so I use little quantity of water. Soup, in the other way around, now stew you use it with rice. I believe other countries also eat it that way. But for soup, you use it with swallow. That swallow is made, for example, Gary. Gary, correct? So you use hot water, you pour hot water into the Gary and mix it until it solidifies. Then when it cools, you cut it, roll it if you want to roll it, and dip it in the soup. Take some soup with it and swallow it. Now, some people used to chew the swallow. Why are you chewing swallow when it's not Gary? It's different. So when something is swallow, you swallow it, right? But me, I like it. I like making it into a bowl, like rolling it into a bowl before swallowing it because I want it running through my throat in a smooth manner. But some people don't use to roll it to be smooth. They just cut it and put it inside soup and it's why. Why? Okay. I guess that's why my own stays in my stomach for a long time because before it breaks down, it will take longer time compared to someone who just cut it deep into soup and swallow or eat or chew. Yeah, so back to the story. So I've explained now, right, that my neighbor's girlfriend complained that my neighbor doesn't know how to communicate. Now, how do you do it as a man? For example, if you're my neighbor, so your girl is talking, babe, for example, so as I was going on the road, this guy was hitting on me, and I turned back, look at him, and said, and just look at him. Then he asked me, "Hi, beautiful, how are you doing? And can I get your number?" And I said, "No, I'm in a relationship." And the guy keeps talking. Even though your jealousy is rising, what you're expected to say, hey, some guys are like that. You can say something, just pick something from there, and people talk about it. Or now, this is another scenario entirely. You are a business person and I am a writer. For example, my friend, my paddy, she was once my manager. Once said, Janet, you should marry somebody that multifunctions, in the sense that my head is always curious. One minute I want to do experiment. I studied food science and technology, right? So I want to do something in regards of that profession, and then I'm stuck, or I just want to share my idea with somebody, and then I go to my partner and say, you know nothing about food technology, right? And I say, hey babe, I was thinking, instead of frying plantain, why can't we use it to do this? I was thinking of doing this. Then if you don't know what to say, you just say, ah, that would be nice. Even when you don't like that idea, you just say, maybe you can go ahead and try it. I don't know how you want to say it, but you should say something. Or I'm writing a script, then I'm stuck. I don't know how to move forward. I'm asking you, how do you think this thing will look in reality? Do you think it's okay? And I remember somebody once told me, please, I don't know something about that. Don't ask me. Bro, that there's a problem. There's a problem. You don't have to be a lawyer if I'm a lawyer to know what to say. You have to multifunction. Even when you don't have any experience, use your common sense. Do you get? So that's how to communicate with your partner effectively. So sometimes when I'm gisting with somebody and I feel I'm talking too much, yeah, sometimes I'll say, I hope I'm not talking too much. Or sometimes I'll pause so that the person will also say something. But sometimes the person may not have something to say. Then I keep talking because you don't have something to say. As long as you're participating by gesture, or, don't just stay mute. Now, I know a friend who broke up with someone close to me because truly the guy can talk. Yeah, it's not wrong for a guy to talk, but this guy can talk for 2 hours straight. Whether you participate or not, he will just keep talking. Now, when you're gisting with somebody, you should also be conscious that the person is following. Apart from that, you should also take a break at some point to hear the person out. That's how to have effective communication, right? It's a to and fro something. So, English people say for communication to be successful, there must be a feedback, right? So if you're the one doing all the talking and the person is not saying anything, it means you're not communicating, right? Okay. Another reason why I'm going to talk about this, or why I decided to talk about this, is the other day, that's last week, I went to buy pressure pots. Please, for people who are in other countries, I've been looking for. There's this pot they use in canning. Oh, it is called pressure canner. Please help me now. I want to buy it. Now they ask AI for answer. Why will you ask AI for answer when you're communicating with your partner? It's crazy. So I'm looking for pressure canal. Please, if you know where I can get it, I want to buy it because I want to experiment on tomatoes, because there are times we really have excess in this country that it will be wasting. So I was looking for how to, it's not that we don't have canned or tomato slurry sold in the market, but me and you know that that tomato is not 100% tomatoes. So I just want to make it and see how long I can preserve it. It's just an experiment. So I've been looking for pressure canner. So last week, as I was saying, I went to buy pressure pots because I wanted to make molds. I wanted to experiment molds. So let me. Sun is disturbing me here. Okay. So I wanted to buy pressure pots. So I went to the market, and well, because I was there before then, and the woman said it was 15,000 naira. When I went back, the woman said she was selling it for 20,000, and then she started telling me how things are expensive now. But I said it's the same product. She said it doesn't matter. So While I was waiting, I needed to call someone to help me send the balance because I didn't have enough in my account and I needed that pot that night. There's a lady I met there. She was just quiet, and I felt, hmm, uh, there's nothing wrong. They say I don't know how to associate, that I need a friend in my life. So let me just talk to this lady. So we just started talking about things casually, and then I said to somebody, no, I said to her, okay, something led to something, and I told her that I don't like asking men for money, even when we are in a relationship. So she said, really? I said, yes, because I feel that, I mean, we all have what we use the money for, right? So whenever you feel like you should give, you should give. Whenever I feel like, oh, I should buy you a gift, I will buy you a gift. That depends on what you're doing. I've already said this thing before, that I am stingy if you are stingy. Good. So she said, really? That for how she believed that there are some men that if you don't ask, they will not give. And that's true. But why is not totally true is, if this person has good intention towards you, no matter how stingy the person is, if this person truly loves you, no matter how stingy the person will know that, oh, this one has not been asking me for money. It doesn't mean that she doesn't need it. Okay, let me try something. Right? That's what I believe, though. You may have a different belief. Yeah, there are some people that will not give you shin if you don't ask. But I believe if the person loves you, he will do something. He will advise himself. Right? So she then said that, that my sister, men are this, men are that. So I said, what did men do? Because whenever my gender sounds like that, it means she's going through a lot in our relationship. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with sharing however you feel with a stranger. It doesn't harm, as long as, after all, you don't know the person, she will not use it against you. But for me, I prefer discussing it with male friends. But me, I didn't even have preference. So far you're close to me, however I'm feeling at that time, I'll say my mind out, because I'm not one of those people who will keep something in my heart. Then I'll be suffering I'll be going through emotional torture when I can just tell somebody and be free. So feel free to tell me or tell someone close. So she told me that she just finished treatment. I said, what happened? She said, do I know that, okay, let me get the way she said. She said, do you know that I was sick last week and I was administered, right? That's the right word, being administered in the hospital. Anyways, she stayed in the hospital for some days and her boyfriend didn't call her throughout those days. And then she was wondering what went wrong until today, which made it the second week that's 2 weeks after she fell sick, that the guy never reached out. So technically, she was heartbroken. As a sister, as a woman, I felt, oh, I should talk to her. So I said, what really happened? She said they've been having misunderstandings, but she expected that after some time, he should call and reach out. Now, this is where communication is. Hello from Berlin. Emilio. Hi, I'm Janet from Nigeria. Tell me, can you type, how is your country? Here we're in the rainy season. It rains 1 minute and sun for some seconds. How is it from your end? Tell me. It's lovely to meet you. Welcome to my live stream. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Very important. You can see that I have a story running, some short videos, but I'm going to compile it later on. Meanwhile, I'm still working on a bigger projects for a very fantastic storyline. So subscribe so that you will not miss out. I love you. So where was I? So she said the guy never called. Hello. Yeah. So unfortunately I don't speak English. Okay, type whatever. I'll find a translator. Thank you. So you can see now that the problem may be that the guy in question, her boyfriend, expects her to call him, and she also expects him to call her. Now, this happens in every relationship, especially when there's a misunderstanding, and I'm the chief priest of that. Please forgive me. You can say I'm very prideful, but don't blame me so much because I can't just help it. I feel I'm the lady. If you love me, you should reach out. And now the guy is feeling he's the man. If I love him, I should call. Then we are both, you know, I'll not be comfortable, right? And he's also not, maybe he's not comfortable. It means your day will not go as, you will not be happy deep down. Let's be sincere. You'll not be happy. So I was wondering why she couldn't reach out to the guy. But that now depends. She didn't give me details of what happened. She just said the guy didn't reach out. So that took my mind to a post I saw on social media where the lady said she cooked and took to her boyfriend's place. And when she got there, his neighbor told her that the guy is not at home. And meanwhile, his car was parked and it was so obvious that he was in. Then she turned around and go, no, that's not me. That is not me. Me, I will come inside and see things with myself. I will confront, like, you need to see me and tell me you're not doing again. That depends, right, on my relationship with the person. But in this case, since he wasn't the one who sent me text, or I called and he refused to pick, or told me that he's not at home. In short, even if he's the one who told me he's not at home and I'm at his gate, I will enter inside. So this is where miscommunication happens. Because tell me why you are at the gates of your man's house and someone else told you that he's not around. Normally, if the relationship is very, very serious, you should be able to enter inside, right? But let's just say, these days, in the olden days, if you're in a serious relationship with somebody, it gets to a point that the person give you his spare key, that, oh, in case you're coming and I'm not around. But these days, I don't think many people practice that again. But my point is to erase misunderstanding, because the guy in question may not even be aware of this. Now, you're also going to say it depends on what he has been, kind of communication or kind of talks he's been having with his neighbor, that gave the neighbor the effrontery or the audacity to inform his girl that he is not around, right? So this is where the problem is. What is she supposed to do in that case? At least call him, let him use his mouth and tell you that he's not at home. But even at that, me, I will still enter inside and see you, so that you no give me another lie. Do you get the point? So communication, effective communication, is really complex. That I just believe that, you know what, you don't need to stress yourself. Once you tell somebody that, hey, this is what I've noticed. Why don't you do like this? I don't like this. If the person likes you, if the person cares about you, there should be a way he should adjust to accommodate you, and you also give him or her time to adjust. Something just flashed in my head that I wanted to say that I forgot. God, I hope I remember along the line. Do you get? And it's very important. I don't know how I forgot. So now, why do we need to communicate? Because some people are in formal relationship where you just talk about hi, where you just say hi, good morning, how are you? Fine, that's all. Honestly, that's not a serious relationship if you ask me. Because for you to know somebody very well, you need to communicate, not by pleasantries or greetings. You need to have deep conversation. You need to share things with each other. So why do we need to communicate? Number one for me is that it creates bond. So if I say, good, I remember let me quickly share this before I go back there. One of my crew, I do shoot my job if you followed losing my wife. So I have crew members. We are very close. We are like families. Trust me. We don't even talk to each other until there's something important or we meet on set. But unfortunately, due to the rain, we've not been shooting. So he wanted to get married to this girl, and thank you, Emilio. And he said the girl told him that she's no longer feeling the spark. She's not feeling anything. She feels empty. Now, trust me, just like I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and both of us come to into conclusion that love is not enough in marriage. In the sense that there's a time that feeling is not there. There will be a time that the butterfly is not flying in your stomach again. So what are you going to do with the person at that point? Are you going to end things? So what you have left is just Abby. You know each other, you know the other person's routine. So you come back, talk. That's what keeps the bond going. So I asked him, when she told you that she's not feeling anything for you again, what did you do? He said he just ended the call. That he felt she's seeing someone else. He felt she has someone else in mind. That's why she suddenly, no, it doesn't just suddenly. It started somewhere. It started with um it may be one conversation that was not properly communicated, or there was a misunderstanding, and she decided to just keep it to herself to prevent escalating the issue that led to such feeling. Now, I told him, if somebody tell you something like that, if a lady tells you, now it's different from, I don't have feelings for you again, I'm no more interested in the relationship. That's different. I mean, they were planning to get married. She says she's not feeling the spark again. Like she's not feeling being loved again, something like that. So what you should do as a guy, woman to woman, I mean woman to whoever, woman, like, but I'm telling you from my own aspect now, if a lady tells you that, it doesn't mean, now it depends on the tone, right? But in this case, she says she's not feeling his back again. Let me emphasize on that. So what you should, the first question you should ask is, what should we do? Or you can decide to start with, I know it seems this thing had happened to me before. Or you can start with, when did it start? So this is a deep conversation that should be in a very calm atmosphere without distraction. When did you notice? Oh, I remember. Yeah. When did you notice it? And then she start thinking, she may start saying where it started. Yeah. Are you live every day? No, I mostly stream on weekends, especially on Sundays because I'm free on Sundays. Saturdays for chores, and Monday to Friday I go to work. Before I stream in the office, but I don't want to be streaming there again. So it's better this way since I won't be distracted. Yeah. But if you want me to stream, you can type the day you want me to stream so we can have a conversation. Do you have any gist for me? Do you want us to talk about anything? Please comment. I am concerned because I care about you. So back to the conversation. So when you ask her when she noticed, if she doesn't remember, so you ask, what should we do? If she doesn't even have anything to contribute, if she's just blank, so what you should do now is that you need to, let's say in some cases, you need to start from where. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Emilio. It's good to have you. I hope you subscribed, right? Subscribe to my channel and like the video. I love you. Thank you for your time. So, for example, you should ask yourself now, what was I doing that I'm not doing again? Now, we women, the saying that women are moved by what they hear. Yeah, that's the truth. Because sometimes I just want you to tell you you love me. Sometimes I want you to remind me, to reassure me that, oh, your heart is still here, right? So what are those things you were doing that you are not doing again? I know we go through shit. I know we go through stress, professional stress, family stress, and all that. But as a good manager, you should be able to manage your relationship, because you can't tell me that if you have issues at work you should disown your family members. You don't do that, right? Or you don't avoid. But if you're that kind of a person, I don't know what to say. Everybody know how to manage, but when it comes to relationship, in order for you to not to lose someone you may not be able to replace, because please cut that crap about there are many fishes in the river. We know there are different species of fishes in the river, and all the species may not be compatible with you. We know that moment. I mean, you know how it feels when you can't replace somebody, right? So you must ensure that if you care about this person, you should be able to accommodate the person's emotional needs. Now, this is vice versa. Now, while the problem is like men are always the problem, is that women always complain. Men don't. They just keep things to themselves. So I'm going to teach my sons that no matter how you feel, you should be able to express it when I have them. So please, men, you should be able to, whenever you're not feeling or whenever you feel something is wrong, whenever you have doubts, you should be able to bring it up and have a conversation. But please, that is the problem I notice about men whenever they have doubts. They tend to start the conversation with accusation. Ehem. The other day, a man called you and you were smiling while picking that call. And then and she replies with how, when, how could you? And then it escalates. No. There's how you put the conversation. You don't accuse somebody when you want clarity. You ask questions, you start it in a very subtle manner, in a way that the person will not flare, because once I'm angry I will not talk, or I'll hey Chineke. Do you get that kind of a thing? So you must be able to communicate effectively in the way that now. So, like I said, the person says, I'm no more feeling the spark. You ask yourself, what was I doing before that I'm not doing now? I know over time when we are old in the relationship, before you used to send some messages, or when you're together, you do this and that, you do like, that kind of kisses on the forehead or pegs, and you say, I love you, that kind of stuff, and now you're not doing it again. And then I heard women are vulnerable, and then you're not doing it again. And then maybe I'm just saying, it doesn't happen in all the cases, and there's one brother telling her those things, and it doesn't mean that she likes that one. She just want you to do that, and then you find problem in it. Because let me tell you the truth, I don't know about, when you're expecting a call from somebody, from Mr. B, and then A to Z is calling you, it's not going to be satisfactory like when the person you expect to call from to call. So you just take that person's call to come, and your whole day will brighten up, compared to 100 people calling you, which you don't really you get. I'm just giving you secrets, I'm just telling you secrets here. That's the truth. So, and she's telling you, babe, you don't even do this, and you say you that and you start saying all manners of things, and she feels you don't care. And then, you know what, it's obvious this relationship is not going to work, but because of the emotional bond, the love is still there. Let me just see how things goes. It is well, oh, it is well. So I'm done with relationship talk. I'm done with it. Now let's move on to the gist. I saw my neighbor, my former neighbor. That's where I was staying before. Let me tell you about what happened to this guy. He's from my place. One day we were sleeping, and the gate someone banged, some group of men banged the gate, boom, boom, boom. Everybody woke up, peeping from their windows, and this guy came in